A very good afternoon to all the students who are present today for the online lecture of second year BCom semester 3 for the subject management. I warmly welcome one and all. Now, I hope that you have been attending the previous lectures of management, so you are aware that we have discussed and completed the first unit of management that talks on the contemporary issues in human resource management, in which we have discussed in detail the concept of HRM as to what do you mean by human resource, what do you mean by human resource management, what are its different objectives and goals. Not only that, we have also discussed number of contemporary issues pertaining to human resource management. To name a few, in the previous lectures, we have been discussing topics such as the sexual harassment of employees at the workplace. We have discussed concepts such as employees' engagement as to how far is he engaged in the organization and how far the right conditions are given to work so that the employee works with full commitment and motivation in the same. We have discussed concept of employer branding, that is to create the name of employer or the name of the employing organization as the best place to work. So we had studied about that as well. We have also studied about topics such as talent management. How would the organization attract the best talent from outside? How the skills of the existing employees be developed? And how these employees will be retained in the organization. Lastly, in the previous lecture, we have also discussed topics on career planning and career management of an employee. We have discussed about different career stages of the employees. Also, we have discussed in the last lecture as to what shall be the process of career planning. We talked about how planning and managing the career of an employee is not only beneficial to the employee but also to the organization at large. The human resource personals have to pay attention to the skills, the needs, the aspirations of the people working in the organization. After having identified their needs and aspirations, the opportunities in the organization have to be analyzed, and ultimately, both have to be aligned. So we can say that the right person is given the right job to work based on his skills and needs. So ultimately, it is beneficial to both the parties because employees get to work as per their skills and needs. On the other hand, the productivity of the organization also develops. So we had studied all about that as to how an organization can provide the career path to achieve the career goals of an employee. Lastly, we had discussed the last issue that was pertaining to the work-life balance as to how the organization can play an important role in bringing about a balance between the employee's working life and the personal life. How he can create a balance between both of the priorities. So even that we had discussed what were the benefits of maintaining a work-life balance we had discussed in the previous lecture because it cannot be all work and no play for any of the employee. There has to be a balance between his achievements in the organization and enjoyment as well. After all, he needs to enjoy whatever work he's doing in the organization. So, how the balance could be created, what were the benefits of creating a work-life balance, everything we discussed in the previous lecture. So I hope that the discussion on Unit 1 was clear to you and you were clear with all the concepts that we have studied in detail in the previous lectures. Still, I would say that if you have any doubts pertaining to any of the concept, you may put your doubts in the Google Classroom and I shall be answering to them at the earliest. So join the Google Classroom if you have not joined yet. Now, For today's lecture, without any further discussion, we would begin with the second unit of management, and you can see the name of the unit that talks on the recent techniques in human resource management. Just like we talked on some contemporary issues of human resource management in the first unit, now we shall study the techniques recently introduced or involved in human resource management. But again, even this unit would be talking on one factor that you can see very well, that is your HRM, being human resource management. So before we start the discussion on topics today, let me just give you a quick overview of what are the techniques or what are the topics you are going to cover for Unit 2. So please have a look on the contents. You have techniques such as employees for lease, or you can say employee leasing. You have a topic on moonlighting by employees, that is blue moon to full moon. Of course, we shall be discussing them in detail in the lectures. So you can just have an overview on the contents. You have a topic on dual career groups, flexi time and flexi work. There is a concept on quality management. So, what was the history of quality management? What were the principles of quality management? The relationship between quality management and functional management would be studied in this unit particularly. Again, you have a concept on quality management and continuous improvement. So, we would be understanding the concept of it. You have to understand the objectives and the limitations of CPI, that is continuous process improvement. There is a concept of lean, so you will be understanding the lean process, lean principles, and the lean benefits. Lastly, you have a very interesting topic on Six Sigma, so you would understand the concept, objectives, and planning the Six Sigma process. So these are all contents, techniques that needs to be covered for unit number 2. Of course, it is a lengthy unit, you can see, but very interesting. The focus for today's lecture shall be to understand the very first technique or the very first concept that talks on employees for lease, or also known as employee leasing. And we would have a very basic discussion on the meaning of moonlighting by employees. We would not be taking up the types, that is blue moon to full moon, but at least I would give you a brief idea on the meaning of moonlighting. So let us begin, students. So here comes your first topic for unit number 2 that you can very well see talks on employee leasing. Now, before I move on to the topic that is employee leasing, let us just first look the second word, leasing. So students, maybe in banking or so, you have heard the word lease or leasing. Do you know the meaning of lease? Or when you hear such sentences that the building is on lease, the property is taken on lease, what do you understand by that? A basic understanding or a common man's understanding of leasing could be giving something or taking something on rent. So that is, you consider as leasing the property or renting the property. So generally you have heard the term lease with these kind of things only. Could be a land, could be a building, could be a property. You have never heard or hardly heard the word associated with an individual. So today what you are hearing is leasing, not of any property, not of any land or building, but we are talking about the leasing of employees. So of course you cannot use the word renting because we are not talking about some non-living article, but we are talking about leasing the employee. Now what is that? Now an organization or a business enterprise may at times require some consultants. It may require the help of an expert who can guide them, who can give their expert suggestions to any sort of problem that the organization is facing. There could be a project that is undertaken by the business for which it requires some expertise, knowledge, requires some guidance, or some consultancy service is required, which is not available in the organization itself. So, such employees can be leased from outside. So, these employees, which are obtained for a certain time duration, they are known as the lease employees. And the company or the organization that is supplying these employees to the business enterprise on lease basis is known as the leasing organization. I would repeat once more for you that when we talk about employee leasing, it is the business enterprise or any organization whatsoever who is obtaining or acquiring the employees on lease basis because it wants their expert advice or it wants their consultation for whatever matter in the organization. So these employees who are obtained on lease for a certain time duration for certain number of days are known as the lease employees, and the company or the organization that is providing these employees to the business will be known as the leasing company or the leasing organization. So you would say that how they are related. So let us understand it through one diagram. So on one hand, there would be the employee. On the other hand, there would be the employer. Employer is in need of these employees for their expert advice, for their suggestions. And on the other hand, we have employees who can give that advice to the employer. In middle comes the leasing company or the leasing organization, which would connect or join both the parties together. That is to say, it will be providing the employees on lease basis to the employer who is in need of the same. Now, again, a question should come into your mind that what benefits are going to be received, because ultimately we have understood about three parties. I hope you are clear. The first party being the employer himself in need of employees, the second being the leasing company who can provide the employees on lease, and the third being the employees who shall work on lease basis. So then what is the benefit received? So when the employer is asking for employees on lease, it shall be paying the charges or it shall be paying the fees to the leasing company. The leasing company will be deciding what charge has to be collected, and the same will be paid by the employer to the leasing company. Please mark my words. Employer is not paying directly to the employee, but he is only paying what is charged by the leasing company. So now the question comes, what will be received by the employee then? Who shall pay the employee? So it will be the leasing company that will pay the salary, will pay the benefits to the employee. Whatever benefits and whatever salary he could have received from any XYZ organization when he was working there, same would be paid by the leasing company. So leasing company charging from the employer and then paying out to the employee. Fine. So this is the relation that you can understand in the topic of employee leasing. To give you a better understanding, let us understand the definition or the meaning of employee leasing. So pay attention to the meaning. So as I said, that when an organization depends upon consultancy agencies or individual consultants for obtaining the required number and kind of employees for organization on lease basis, the employees are known as lease employees who shall work for the organization. So as I said, when an organization is in need of that consultancy service, it can ask the consultancy agencies or can ask the consultants and thereby obtain the required number of employees with the required skill, but on lease basis. That is to say, they are not recruiting the employees actually. They are not hiring the employees on permanent basis, but they are just leasing the employees, taking them on lease basis. So the employees would be known as lease employee, and they will work for the organization. So you can say that the leasing companies will be the principal employers. They are actually the employers who are employing the people and thereby sending them to the organization on lease basis. So they would send the required number and the kind of employees to various organizations on lease basis. So as I said, there would be three parties. The first being employer who wants that service, who wants the consultants, and thereby they obtain the employees on lease basis from whom? So it is the leasing company. The leasing company would collect the fees and the other charges from various industries, meaning to say those industries or those organizations who want employees on lease basis, they would be paying the fees and the other charges to the leasing company, and out of that the leasing company would be paying the salaries and would provide the benefits to the employees. So one thing you can understand, that the employer or the organization has not to worry about the salary or the other benefits of the lease employee. It shall be taken into consideration by the leasing company. So the leasing company will pay complete salary and benefits to the employees irrespective of the number of days that the employee is sent to various organizations on lease. So they will be getting their complete salary and the benefits no matter for how long they work and where they work on lease basis. So I hope that you are clear with the meaning of employee leasing. Let us understand something more on the same. So this slide would be explaining you why employees should be taken on lease basis and why not to use the manpower which is actually working in the organization. So the first reason that I can give you is that the employees who are already working in the organization, they may not have that expert knowledge. They may lack some abilities of actually giving guidance or actually achieving the objectives. They may not have the knowledge about every possible area. Also, when the organization seeks expert advice from outside, those experts would just give the advice, would just give the suggestion, but ultimately the execution would have to be done by the employees working in the organization. So no matter the advice given by the expert was true and correct, but the employees may fail to execute the same. So to avoid these limitations of proper execution, that is where the employee leasing organization came into existence, wherein the employees can be obtained on lease basis not only to give their expert advice, but also help in the execution of the same. So now let us read. So sometimes the organizations depend upon the consultancy agencies or individual consultants, as I said, to use their expert knowledge. So they may provide the expert advice, but then they won't wait for the execution. Advice will be executed by the employees of the organization. So the employees with their limited knowledge and lack of executive abilities may fail to convert the know-how into a project. So they may not have enough ability or enough talent to convert that advice into actual project. So under such circumstances, new types of organizations have emerged known as the employee leasing organizations. So they would provide the expert advice and would also supply human resources for executing that project. So an organization can seek both the expert consultancy and the execution of the same on lease basis. So I hope that you are clear with the meaning and the understanding of employee leasing. You can go through it once more. I would give you some time. So you have understood about the employers taking employees on lease, such employees known as the lease employee, and the organizations supplying the employees on lease basis known as the employee leasing organization or the leasing company. Let us understand one more thing as to how it is beneficial to all the three parties. When I say three parties, I'm meaning the company or the industry who is obtaining the employees on lease basis for their expert guidance. I'm also talking about the employees who are working on lease basis. And thirdly, I'm talking about the leasing company who is providing the employees on lease basis. So how employee leasing is beneficial to all the three? Let us read from this paragraph. So it is beneficial to the leasing company who is providing employees on lease basis, the specialist employees who are working on lease basis, who are giving their expert advice, consulting, and lastly, also to the industry who is getting the employees on lease basis. How? So let us understand. First, we shall talk about the industry. So there may be few industries, few organizations who do not have enough financial resources so as to utilize the expert advice. They may also not have enough money to recruit those people permanently in the organization. So in that case, those industries with limited budget can make use of the expert advice and the service of the most competent human resource. They may just get them on lease basis and they may make the most use of their expert knowledge that would help them in the execution of the project whatsoever. So that is why it is very beneficial to such industries. I can say especially to the small scale and the medium sized industries, it helps a lot because they have scarcity of funds. So employee leasing helps them. Secondly, the employees, they will get continuous employment because they are experts in their own field. They would be getting continuous employment where they are getting better salaries and benefits from the leasing company as well. Lastly, the leasing company also gets the benefit as it will derive the surplus resources from its charges and fees. Definitely, the leasing company is receiving the charge, it is receiving the fees from the industry. So after having paid the salary and giving the benefits to the employees, whatever surplus left over is nothing but of the leasing company. So I can say all the three parties are getting the benefit from the same. So I hope that you are clear with the first concept that you have understood that talks on employee leasing. We have understood the meaning of employee leasing. We have understood how industries are able to get the employees on lease basis, such employees known as the lease employee, from a company who is providing on lease basis known as the leasing company. We have understood why is it important and what are the benefits received by all the three parties. So having understood with the first concept, we would just talk a bit on the second topic for today, that is moonlighting by employees. Of course, it is quite a detailed topic, yet very easy and interesting to understand. But in today's lecture, I shall only be explaining you the meaning of moonlighting so that from the next lecture, we can understand better the types of moonlighting and what are its pros and cons, what are its benefits and limitations. So students, let us just understand the basic definition, the meaning of moonlighting done by employees. It is a term not much familiar to you, and also the meaning is not very well depicted in the term that you read, moonlighting. But moonlighting, if I may explain you in a very simple language, it is a scenario wherein the employees, along with their primary job, along with their one job that they are already doing, they may also start a job, or they may also start their own business for the rest of the time. That is to say, along with a main job that they are performing, maybe during the daytime, they would also get involved in a part time job during the rest of the day when they are free, maybe the night. So, in a way, when they are handling more than one job, they are working in more than one jobs or handling a business of their own, it is nothing but moonlighting by employees. In a way, they are making extra money, they are earning more by doing more than one job. So, as you can see, one person, but for one part of the day, he's working somewhere else, and for the other part of the day, he's working somewhere else. It is also not necessary that both the jobs that he performs are related to each other. Not at all. It could be a person working in a multinational company, maybe a worker working in any sort of company in the morning, in the daytime, and for the rest part of the day, he would be enjoying his own passion, let us say for dancing or for singing. So it is not necessary that two things have to be always interconnected to each other. But definitely, he's working for more than one job, and that is nothing but moonlighting by employees. Before we understand why employees do moonlighting, why they prefer more than one job, let us understand the meaning of it. So, as I said, it simply means working at many jobs or running one's own business in addition to a primary job. He may be having a job already, but he may be working at many other jobs too, or he may be running his own business for the rest part of the day when he is free. So, that is nothing but moonlighting. Traditionally, the term moonlighting actually means to earn extra money. It is said that when a person wants to earn extra, he is doing moonlighting. That is not the case all the time, because every time a person does not moonlight only to earn extra, but definitely it is one of the most important factor that leads a person to do moonlighting. As I said, those two things or jobs need not be related to each other. A person who is a teacher of a school during the day may also run a boutique in evening. So it is somewhat like that. You may be doing something in one part of your day and you may be doing something else in the other part. So, as I said, many people moonlight to earn extra money, but some also do to enhance their skills in different fields. It is not always that you want to earn extra money and so you do a part time job. It may be one of the most important reasons to do, but there are other reasons as well. As I said, when a person is working in a company during the daytime, let us say, he may be also a singer or a dancer by his passion. He may follow the same for the rest part of the day. Or he may be learning different skills. He wants to get talented, wants to develop his skills in different other fields. So even for that, he may do moonlighting. It may also be to fight the boredom, kill the boredom. He is bored or he finds his job to be quite monotonous. So, to kill and avoid that boredom, he may wish to do something else where his interest, his skills get developed. Moonlighting reasons may vary, but the result is fatigue. In the next lecture, we are going to discuss the merits and the demerits of moonlighting. But one thing you can understand that when a person is occupied at more than one place, more than one job that he's performing, it will indulge into fatigue. He will get tired and exhausted mentally and physically both while he's working day and night hard. So, in general, you can say that moonlighting is having a second job typically secretly at night, in addition to one's regular employment, which does not have to relate to the main job. So, as I said, it is not always related to the main job. It could be anything which the person performs in addition to his employment, addition to his primary job. So, this is all about the meaning of moonlighting. It is also defined as an employee's propensity to work with two different companies at the same time. To work in both the companies, they divide their work on the basis of day and night. Generally, these are the two parts of the day where one can work. So he basically would divide both the works on the basis of day and night. And why it arises. So definitely we will be understanding the reasons of moonlighting in the next lecture. But generally it is believed that when an employee is dissatisfied from his current job, when he is not getting enough compensation or enough financial benefits from the first job, he may have to opt for a part-time job as well, because he is dissatisfied, his needs are not satisfied with the amount of money salary he receives from the job. So he may have to moonlight and he may have to work for another job as well, or maybe start his own business. So we would be discussing more on this in the next lecture. You can have a look on the slide where you can see how a person, the same person, may work for one thing during one part of the day and may be working for something else as well. And as I said, they need not be related to each other, because when you moonlight, it also is for earning more money, but can also be to enhance your skills. Or as I said, you want to follow your passion, you want to avoid that boredom, so you may develop your skills as well. So now in the next lecture, we shall be understanding the reasons of moonlighting, why a person opts for two things at one time, how he is opting for other job or wants to run his own business along with the primary job where he's already occupied. So we shall be understanding the reasons and the benefits as well as the demerits of moonlighting in the next lecture. Have a quick glance at whatever is covered today. So we have started discussion on the second unit, where I have explained to you the first topic, that was employee leasing. We have understood the concept of it, and we have also understood the basic meaning of moonlighting. In the next lecture, before we move on to the types of moonlighting, I would give you a quick revision of all what we have done today. Have a quick overview of whatever is done today. So I hope that you are clear with whatever we discussed today. In case you have any doubts pertaining to the same, you can always post your doubt in the Google Classroom of your respective class, and I shall be answering them at the earliest. Thank you so much for the day. Until then, happy learning.